Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Self-Evident. It's 7:05 a.m., February 20th, 2025. Does society need philosophers? As far as I can tell, society is entirely dependent on philosophy. Philosophers play a pivotal role in the function of society. By this I mean all of our lives revolve around the proper love of wisdom. Deviate from this way of life at your peril. For to abandon wisdom is to live in folly. One's way of life is guided by the principles of justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom. This is true for everyone, regardless of their distinct qualities. Many awe-inspiring questions have been raised about ethics, civics, psychology, and spirituality. It's through philosophy that these questions are asked, answered, and asked again. All this to say, a philosopher isn't useful the same way a plumber or mechanic is. Broken pipes and crashed cars are immediate problems in our everyday lives that require immediate attention and a special set of skills. What philosophers deal with is death, virtue, aesthetics, logic, nature, God, and more. These ideas are simply taken for granted by most people. The presumptions we make about philosophical ideas usually come from what we were taught as children. Our worldview is based on the assumptions of our friends and family, along with our experiences and the conclusions we draw from them. That is to say, we take the significance of our worldview at face value instead of looking into our thought process and seeing more deeply with a richer saturation of meaning in our lives. Philosophy isn't a practical enterprise, so most people overlook its importance. It's safe to say you've called a HVAC professional or the doctor's office, the postal service, and the pizza place. But what about a philosopher? When would a person most need the help of a philosopher? That would likely be the time when they aren't wise and they don't know what to do or who they are. That's the receptive phase of life where philosophy can take root and flourish in the minds of the distressed and weary, offering them a spiritual home and a way to make sense of things. Regardless of the way things are, we have tools at our disposal to solve the problems we can control, to mitigate the destruction and suffering we can, and to endure and transmute the suffering we can't prevent. Vocation, it's a noun, a strong feeling of suitability for a particular career or occupation. Is philosophy a vocation? Many rhetoricians spewing word salad would say they're doing philosophy, and many of their fans would agree. There's a lot of BS out there. Since before the time of Socrates, there have been charlatans, snake oil salesmen, bullshit artists, storytellers, false prophets, liars, and cheaters. The success of selling philosophy is a ratio of intelligibility, accessibility, significance, relevance, succinctness, accuracy, and personability. But is sales a good way to judge philosophy? Should we be trying to sell ideas? The opinion of the mob is a formidable force, regardless of its accuracy. Surely there are good words in those books, the ones trying to sell you something, but what the goal is unclear a lot of times. The most dangerous kind of bullshit is the bullshit you tell yourself. The second is bullshit in writing disguised as wisdom. Any story can be told in a way that comes off as meaningful and significant, even important with a moral significance, regardless of how good the story really is. This is rhetoric, and it's really effective. Politicians are the best rhetoricians because telling the truth prevents them from getting their story across. To a politician, the truth is an inconvenience. To a philosopher, the truth is his livelihood, a wellspring of virtue and beauty. To say a philosopher loves the truth is the highest praise. What is a philosopher king? Is it the ideal leader of a society? And Plato talks about this ideal leader of a society. In the Republic, he talks about how the person most fit for ruling is the person who really doesn't want to rule. And it's this Socratic irony that we should really lean on in today's day and age, because leadership is a topic that most people really don't want to have anything to do with. And if they want to be a leader in a certain field, they're probably going to try to sell something in that field or try to push an agenda. And a philosopher isn't supposed to do that. A philosopher actually is supposed to have a empty mind, receptive to the world and the different ideas out there, instead of pushing some set ideology or some way of thinking or some kind of political agenda. A philosopher is supposed to offer people a chance to grow their own ideas. Like Peter Grimes says that Socrates was a philosophical midwife, and he would help people give birth to their ideas. Because a lot of the people have in the Socratic dialogues are fantastic communicators and astonishing intellects. And Socrates actually puts some guidance to those a lot of times younger guys that are eager to get their point across. And he just dunks on these guys left and right. And he does it in such a way that they're persuaded to alter their point of view in a way that doesn't push a particular agenda and actually hones in on wisdom, truth, beauty, and these virtues like I listed before: courage, temperance, wisdom, and justice. And through those virtues we can see a clearer because all the bullshit is put to the side. The biblical quote that my grandpa told me a long time ago is separate the wheat from the chaff. And there's a little bit of truth in just about everybody's point of view, and everybody has a piece of the puzzle. So part of the goal of this podcast overall is to hone in on that and to see how other people's ideas interact with my point of view, and maybe how my point of view interacts with theirs. So, society needs philosophers.